to the Dirty South Fantasy Football Podcast with your hosts, Eric Lee and Lorenzo Ice-T.
What's up, Lo? What's going on?
What's up, E. Lee, in the place to be. It is the L-I-T, the C-I-T, always on fire. I stay lit. Woo!
All right. Welcome to the Dirty South Fantasy Football Podcast. We do this each and every Tuesday from 8 to 8:30, but we're not going to talk a whole lot of fantasy. We're going to talk about some real football. Wildcard weekend. Make sure if you're checking us out on Facebook, hit that like button. And if you're checking us out on YouTube, make sure you hit the notification button as well as the subscribe. And please share. All right, man. Look. Wild card weekend.
Oh, it was wild.
A whole lot going on.
It was a wild card weekend. And right now on the NFL Network, they are replaying the AFC wild card game with the Miami Dolphins and the Buffalo Bills. It's on the screen right here in front of me. So at the first quarter, I'm going to turn it off so I don't want to look at the torture in the first quarter.
Well, we know what the results will be. If you're checking us out, feel free. This is going to be a fun show.
Yes.
Make sure you hit us up in the chat. We'll answer some of your questions, put you out there. Shout us out. We truly appreciate it. Let's get right to it, man.
Well,
game.
You would start with the Jacksonville Jaguars game.
That's what I'm saying. We're going to start with We're going to start with the Jaguars, bro. This dude right here. That dude. Oh.
He did his thing.
It was all that it was built up to. I mean, the crazy thing about it is we've seen him in Georgia. They've been televising his high school games. And, of course, we saw him playing at Clemson, and we saw what he did against Alabama.
Mm-hmm.
But last year, that whole deal with Urban Meyer and the Jacksonville Jaguars.
It was a joke.
It was a joke. So you didn't know what you have in Trevor.
Right.
And we know what we got now.
Well, you knew he had a great arm. You knew there was a lot of talent in that arm. Even some games that he played in that first year with Urban Meyer, you could see the zip that he could get on the ball. You could see the power that he had. And basically in some games that they won. In fact, there was a game that they played against the Miami Dolphins in London where he brought them back to beat the Miami Dolphins. So you did. And that actually was the first win. And I think it broke their 22 consecutive game losing streak, something of that sort. So you could see the talent, but it was definitely on display on Saturday night against the San Diego Chargers. And I kind of thought that the Jaguars could come back because there've been so many games this year. My producer on Star 94.5 in Orlando, my producer is a big Jaguar fan. So he was at the game, and we've been talking about the Jags all season long. And you could see there've been games where they just don't give up. They keep coming back. Right. And it seems as if when they get in that no huddle and they just go ahead and you line up at the line of scrimmage and just play ball, they seem to be able to execute their offense better. And that's what you saw once they scored that touchdown before the end of the second quarter. They gained momentum and confidence. And who's to say what happened with San Diego on their and on their side of the ball in the second half, where they just managed to score only 3 points.
Yeah, it was crazy because did you hear about the fact that they fired their offensive coordinator today? It's like you fired the offensive coordinator, you put up 27 in the first half. You can put up points. You should have fired that defensive coordinator that let them boys come back. That's who you should have fired.
Yeah, but there were some in-game decisions by the coach that were questionable and have been questionable all year long. So they had to find a fall guy. Basically, he wasn't going to be the head coach, so they said, okay, we're going to go ahead and let the OC go. And which is unfortunate because basically Herbert has had, I think this would be his third offensive coordinator he's had to deal with in his very short career. So, and he's been able to put up points, put up yardage, put up great stats. And what does that mean for Eckler coming out of the backfield? What coordinator is going to come in and be able to incorporate and keep him involved with the offense? But what really hurt Los Angeles was not having Mike Williams. That hurt. They could have put up more points if they had Mike Williams.
Now, whose fault is that? Because
the coach.
Remember the week before?
The coach.
They played him.
That's right. So,
so
he was on the hot seat just for doing that.
Right.
So that basically explains why the offensive coordinator was the fall guy for the Los Angeles Chargers. So
shout out to Shad Khan, who spent all that money in the offseason to get those pieces around Trevor. So I mean, they did what they needed to do, but we'll talk a little bit more about who they are going to face in this week's playoff matchups. Let's go with the next one, Miami and Buffalo, bro. I'm gonna let you talk this one out.
I mean, ask me a question. What you want to know? I mean, I could just go on.
The thing about it is, you guys were hella competitive the whole game. If you had Teddy, if you had Tua, you probably could have pulled that one out.
If we had Tua playing in that game, based on the way that he played in Week 15 when we were up 28-20 in the fourth quarter, we win this game in Buffalo. We beat them. I mean, the offense wasn't able to take full advantage of all the turnovers that Josh Allen provided. It was 2 interceptions and a fumble where the defense scored for the touchdown. So I believe that if we had Tua in this game, we beat Buffalo and we're playing Kansas City. But at the end of the day, what I have to say, and if we're on Miami Sports Music Channel, so I know there's quite a few Dolphin fans on here. We should be
just jumped on.
Yeah, and the fact that it's disappointing that we started off 8-3 and then we finished overall basically 9-9. Right. Those last few games hurt quite a bit, but Tua Tagovailoa missed 5.5 of those games, right. And then the fact that this team who was, and I have to say it, because we don't know what's going to happen with a certain quarterback that's going to become a free agent in March, and we can get to that a little bit later on. Right. However, when you look at the defense was missing Byron Jones, a starting quarterback, from the beginning of the season. And based on this defense and the way that this defense is supposed to play, if you have Byron Jones and Xavier Howard, those are your lockdown corners. Now, trust, Xavier Howard did not have the year that he normally has. However, when you have those corners that can play man-to-man, that allows you to do a lot of things on the defense. Not having Byron Jones, not having Nick Needham, not having Brandon Jones, our safety, who we saw Rowe rush the quarterback, sack Allen. That was a scoop and score. Brandon Jones does that all the time. We didn't have Emmanuel Ogbah, our leading sacker from the previous year, and miss Trey Flowers. That's just on the defense alone. And then on the offense was missing our starting left guard, missing our starting right guard, and then our right guard moved to left tackle and didn't have our starting running back. Oh, yeah. And then we started our third string quarterback in that game against Buffalo and had a lead 24-20 in the third quarter. With all that being said, and to mention the in-game mistakes that Mike McDaniel has been making all season long. If you're a Dolphin fan, you know this has been a problem. We've been having to call timeouts to avoid having delay of games all year long, along with the illegal formation penalties, or Tyreek Hill moving in motion and going up into the line of scrimmage too soon. There's just been so many things that have happened to this Miami Dolphin team throughout the season where it's been self-inflicted wounds that has hurt them more so than the opposing team.
Well, the Bills jumped out on you 17-0, and I was like, oh, this is going to get ugly real fast.
Yeah.
But you guys came back. You did well. I mean, we'll talk about Tua, and I heard that they've already came out and said he'll be back on the squad next year.
They just had to say that.
Okay.
They just had to say that on Monday. I mean, right. They need to find a backup quarterback or another quarterback answer to Tua Tagovailoa. Yes, they're going to say that. They said that on Monday, and they said it on Monday with someone that they had tampered with, getting ready to play that night.
Right.
Whatever their plans may be, I mean, we can get into Tom Brady later. We can get into.
Yeah,
I will say Stephen Ross and Tom Brady are friends.
Of course,
they're alumnus. Michigan.
Right.
He wanted to be part owner of the team. There's history between those two. So we'll talk about that later. But I'm just going to drop that on you.
Yeah, San Francisco and Seattle.
I mean, you got to give it up to Geno. You got to give it to Geno and the way they performed in the first half. They played very, very well. But then again, against San Francisco, you cannot make mistakes. And they force you into those mistakes. They played, close to the vest against them in the first half. And then the second half rolled around. It's just like, it started to steamroll, and San Francisco started to pick up on what Seattle was trying to do. And they couldn't consistently run the ball with Walker on Seattle's side of the ball. So when you can't consistently run the ball against San Francisco, it's going to be a problem because they're just set up to peel their ears back and rush the quarterback. And that's what happened. Once, was it was a sack or a strip sack or a fumble? Once that happened, it was like everything else started to go in San Francisco's direction.
It's going to be interesting because Geno is he was only on a year contract, so he's going to get paid next year. Somebody's going to get him.
Yeah.
If Seattle doesn't keep him, somebody will pick up Geno. Geno looked that good this year.
Yeah, he made the Pro Bowl, and then I think he broke one of Russell Wilson's records. So, I mean, that's a great year for him, especially when, they didn't think he was going to be the starter at the start of the season. So, but San Francisco looks basically unbeatable because, the Cowboys back in the day, they had what do they call it? The triplets, or they just had, had Pro Bowlers at each position. Now, the 49ers may not have a Pro Bowler at quarterback, but they got McCaffrey.
They got him everywhere else.
They got Kittle and they got Debo. Those are bona fide stars at the main positions for playmakers. And those are hard to cover. You can't beat them all. So
you can't double everybody.
You can't.
Shout out to Dolphin Don, said Seattle can't blink because Geno is a free agent. Yeah.
He's going back to Seattle. He's not.
Let Geno eat.
Yeah. Right. I mean, he's going to stay in Seattle. Oh, I'm looking at this drop by Jalen Waddle.
Minnesota versus New York.
Sorry. We talked about that game.
I know, right?
While the game was going on, I wish I could have gone back and looked at the tape because I think I called it verbatim. When you asked about that game, I said, if the Giants are able to run the ball and keep the ball away from Minnesota, they would have a chance to win the game.
And now,
they won it. But I didn't know Danny Dimes was going to run like that.
Oh, yeah. He put about 70 yards.
Yeah, I tuned into that game a little late because I was still, recuperating from the Dolphin and the Bills game. And, I took a while to turn to that game. And then I saw Danny run 2 plays back to back, looked like he was Josh Allen. I was like, yo. So basically, he
in a contract year too, so he can put it down.
I don't think they're going to beat Philadelphia. Oh, no. But if
we ain't going that far.
I don't think. But if they're able to run the ball and control the clock, keep Philly off the field, and just when you get a chance to hit Hurts, you make it hurt.
Hey, but you
got to make it hurt when you hit them. You got to make it hurt.
They still got to see that Philly defense, though.
That's true. That is true.
Danny he was dropping them dimes. So,
but you better believe Philly's going to hit him.
Or they're gonna give him all
he's going to feel it. You want to run? Oh, we're gonna let you feel it. So we'll have him think twice about running again.
And Kirk Cousins, Lord have mercy. He put up his numbers, but why throw the ball 3 yards short of the first down?
You have to credit the New York Giants defensive tackle, the one in the middle. He pushed the front of the pocket. He pushed the middle of the pocket right into Cousins' face. He was looking for Jefferson on that play, but Jefferson he was doubled, and because the pressure was coming right up the middle, he basically went to the next available play. Now, whatever the play design was bad. Why would you even have a play design with the tight end running a 5-yard out? You see what I'm saying?
When you need 8 yards.
And you need 8. Why is that the design? You see what I'm saying? So at least you should have the tight end running a slant or a post pattern, something upfield. If John Jefferson, oh my God. If Jefferson, who is that? John Jefferson used to play for San Diego Chargers, number 83 back in the day. Anyways, Jefferson's cutting across, running a slant. You need to run, what's the tight end's name from Minnesota? Hockenson. Run him down the seam, straight down the seam. Don't run him on an out. So Kirk Cousins just went to the next player because he was being pressured. I heard all the, but he if not, he's going to get sacked. There was no one else available. So,
okay.
But that's how Kirk played that way all year. I know because I had him as my fantasy football quarterback. So
and everybody that had him understands exactly the pain that the Vikings are going through.
Exactly. You know what I mean? So, so they really need to, Adam Thielen is really falling off. He's not the wide receiver that used to be.
He look
So
old. He's
basically,
33, I think.
yeah. So they're going to have to get another wide receiver because that's what teams are going to do from now on. They're just going to double
up.
They're going to double him. And then, but where was Dalvin Cook on that play? Where was he out of the backfield or was he in the block? There's so many different things, but whatever the play design was, Hockenson shouldn't have been running a 5-yard out.
Right.
Period.
Well, Minnesota goes out again with a great record.
Yeah.
All right. How about Cincinnati and Baltimore? Baltimore could have won this one.
Yo, that was an interesting game because
that 99-yard scoop and score.
That was a crazy play. It was a crazy play, and it was like what you figured that Cincinnati should be up by more,
right?
With all the talent.
What we talking about?
But they're two teams in the same
opponent.
Yes, exactly.
When you know your opponent, they play each other every year twice. They know their opponent.
Right. That goes back. It goes back to Miami and Buffalo that we were talking about. Miami and Buffalo.
What about Dallas and the Commanders? The Commanders should have never beat
the same thing. Right.
And I'm a Commanders fan.
But when you know each other very well, like the Dolphins and the Bills have played each other twice, and all 3 games have been decided by a total of 8 points.
Right.
So when you're going up, that's why Philly and the Giants. Philly has beaten the Giants twice, but they know each other so well. So nothing is going to come as a surprise. The only difference now is Danny may be running and Jalen Hurts may not be running. Right. So that's going to be a difference in that game. So that's Cincinnati. I think it's really unfortunate that it came down to it was a 14-point swing because Baltimore was right there about ready to take the lead.
They were about to put it into overtime.
Right. No,
or at least close to it.
No, it was a tie score. So
it was 24-17. Because they lost. The game was. Nobody scored.
They lost by 7.
Yeah, 24-17.
So the game had to be tied when Baltimore had the ball.
It was already
going to take the lead.
No, it was already 24-17. They were tying up the game. Cincinnati was ahead.
Okay. All right. So basically Cincinnati won by 14 then, right?
It was only scored. It was 24-17.
24-17 Cincinnati.
That's right. They were about to go up. You're right.
Thank you. It had to be a tied score. It was a tied score because Baltimore was about to take the lead. So it was a 14-point swing. If he gets that touchdown, Baltimore has the lead. And then Cincinnati scoops and scores, goes up by 7. And the wide receiver had a chance at right there when it was tipped in the end zone. It hit his fingers, and he had a chance to possibly catch that ball. At the end. So it's really unfortunate for Baltimore and what they're going through with Lamar Jackson and whether or not he's going to be there. They can still franchise him. They can hit him with that tag, if they want to, or he's just going to go wherever he's still going to be under contract basically. I think they say he's a free agent, but I'm not sure how that works. If they can still tag him.
They're going to tag him they can tag him for I think it's last year they can tag him as a franchise. So
basically, right. So if anybody wants him, they're going to have to make a trade. They're gonna have to trade for him, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So I don't know who's going to give up, 2 first-rounders for him.
Well, there's some people out there.
Someone who doesn't play in December.
Yeah. And they were talking about him being a candidate for your team as well as my team.
Yeah, but we don't have any draft capital right now. And yes, the Ravens D is a lot better with Smith. And I thought that the Dolphins should have traded for Smith as opposed to getting a Bradley Chubb.
Right.
You know what I mean? We need. I know we got I'm forgetting his name right now. In the middle, I can't think. Landon Roberts in the middle right now. But I would have loved to have seen Smith in the middle of that Miami Dolphins defense because that's what they're missing. They're missing someone that is Landon is cool, but he's a team favorite and he's a motivator. But you need someone else that can really get in the backfield and tackle players for loss. I don't want to see tackles 5 yards down the field anymore.
And last night, the game of the week, the last game of Wildcard, what is it, Super Wildcard weekend. You know what? I'm perfect for hating on the Dallas Cowboys. But I got to give it up to Dak last night. Now, the first two series, I thought he was old Dak.
Yes, I just thought I was
the
like,
first two series, I was like, this gonna get ugly real fast.
Yes, I mean they looked nervous. They were dropping balls, and
he was short passing the ball.
Yeah, everybody looked. But the problem was the Tampa Bay Buccaneers looked the same way for the first two drives too. So I mean that was so much build up to that game, and it was so much on the line for the Cowboys. They could not lose that game.
Yeah, it was crazy because, it was MLK Day. So, I was off.
Right.
Put on ESPN, and they had First Take and Stephen A. going off, kept going in as the Ric Flair. I mean, Michael Irvin. I said there, watched it all. I was like, the buildup was crazy for it.
Yeah, yeah. You would have thought, in fact, after the game was over, it kind of felt like the Cowboys won the Super Bowl.
Believe me, if you went on your social media, you would have thought they did.
You would have thought they won the Super Bowl. So
that's right. So I'm talking trash right now. Y'all ain't win the Super Bowl, Cowboy fans. Right, it was just one game. One game.
To a team with a losing record.
7-8, 7-9, whatever it was. 7-10, whatever they were. But they're not only to a losing team, Lorenzo, they lost to an old man.
He looked like Moses there.
You beat up an old man, that's senior abuse.
I mean, he threw the ball 66 times last night. He didn't have a whole lot of time. I don't know how many times he was sacked.
And they said he still got the quickest release in the league at 2.95 seconds.
And anyone that has a defensive player that is retired, all of them said the same thing. He's afraid to get hit. He did not want to get hit last night. He did not stay in that pocket. He was getting rid of that ball. He was. I don't know if he got sacked, but if he did, it wasn't a lot because he got rid of the ball real quick. And none of the ballers were going to really hit him and hurt him. It's Tom Brady, you know what I mean? So it was like, all right. So, but it was just interesting that that they went out there and the Cowboys did what they were supposed to do. Yeah, this was a team that they're supposed to beat. And they did that. The surprising thing is that everyone came out. A lot of people came out and said that this was the best game that Dak has ever played.
Right.
Now, you expect him to duplicate this game
next week,
2 or 3
on a short week,
more times. And that's terrible. And you know what? I'm not a Cowboy hater or a fan, but that's kind of messed up.
That is messed
up. They scheduled them for 5 games later. They scheduled them on Saturday. You have them playing Monday, and then you schedule them on Saturday, and they got to travel.
Yeah,
that was messed up.
That's messed up.
That is really messed up. You can't do that.
I couldn't think of it could happen to a better team. That's hate. That's hate. So if you're checking us out right now, generally you usually talk about fantasy football, but realistically we talk about the playoffs, and we might throw in some fantasy talk in a few. If you're checking us out, feel free to hit that like button on Facebook, and if you are on YouTube, make sure you hit that notification button and hit the subscription button, and please share. Let's talk about what's about to go down this weekend. First game, KC versus Jacksonville. Trevor going to Jacksonville. Trevor going to Kansas City to see Mahomes.
There's no swimming pool in Kansas City.
Ain't no swimming pool in Kansas City, y'all.
So this one might be over really quick.
Yeah.
I really think so. Kansas City was able to just sit back and watch what Jacksonville was able to accomplish against San Diego, against Los Angeles, a team that they know very, very well. And they're just going to look at the tape and be able to exploit everything that the Chargers exploited in the first half and then some, so
they got a better defense than the Chargers.
Yeah. But Kansas City's defense isn't that great either. They do give up some points. So I do think that Jacksonville can keep it somewhat respectable, but you expect this game is too big, and Kansas City is going to try to get it over with early, quick, fast, in a hurry, so they can rest their starters in the second half.
So you on KC for this one?
Yeah, definitely. Okay, without question.
Cincinnati and Buffalo. This is going to be emotional.
Yeah, I know. I know, after
this is
Damar
an emotional
Hamlin,
game.
and he's probably, you can bet he's going to be at the game.
Damar's going to be at the game.
I thought he was going to be there Sunday or Saturday. No, it was Sunday. It was Sunday. But when Buffalo took on the Dolphins, but he may show up or do some type of presentation on the screen if he didn't do it.
I was going to say, even on the big screen.
Yeah, he's going to do something. He's going to be there for that game, some way, form, or fashion. Both teams, I mean, basically could have lost this past weekend. Right. When you look at Cincinnati, I mean, if Hundley makes that score, who knows what's going to happen. True. And the Dolphins are, at the 50-yard line down by 3 and can't even get off a 4th and 1 with their third-string quarterback and their coach messing up, the play call because he thought it was a first down. Well, it's 4th and 1. Yeah. So those two teams were taken to the brink. I have to, and I just think, you know what? I think it's going to be hard for Buffalo to cover those 3 wide receivers.
I was going to say, I'm on Cincinnati on this one.
But
I'm on Cincinnati.
I just think that Josh Allen is going to find a way to just put them boys on his shoulders. I mean, he was sacked 7 times.
Yeah.
Miami sacked him 7 times. He threw 2 interceptions. And I know they were going up against a third-string quarterback, but they still found a way to win. And I think that, I think just destiny's on their side with this Damar Hamlin situation. And they're at home.
Remember when they played the first time before Damar got hurt? Cincinnati went down like he won 8 plays. I mean, it looked like there wasn't even a defense on the field.
Yeah, I mean, that was
like you said.
That was one series.
Higgins, you've got Jamar Chase. You've got what's my other man? That's playing in the slot.
T. Higgins.
Now T. Higgins on a wide out. You've got Jamar on the other side, and the other cat in the middle. Playing the slot.
Bird. I can't remember right now.
But then you've got Hunter. You got Hurst at tight end. You got Mixon and Perine in the backfield. Who are you gonna cover?
They're gonna find a way. Frazier's gonna. Is Leslie Frazier? Yeah, he's defensive coordinator for Buffalo. They're gonna find a way. Cincinnati's offensive line is going to have issues with Buffalo's pass rush.
Okay.
So, and Buffalo's a tough place to play. It's loud. They're going to have problems getting the play calls off, getting those off. It's going to be cold.
It's cold in Cincinnati, so.
But it's colder in Buffalo. It's colder here. You know what I'm saying? So, and don't let it snow. If it snows, you got to give them the edge. But
now if it snows, I give Buffalo the edge.
Yeah, it's just that. And I think this game against Miami, with the fact that they could have lost, it was a huge awakening.
Oh yeah, it better be a wake up call.
I mean, you could say the same thing about Cincinnati, but I mean, Buffalo was favored by 2 touchdowns basically, and went up 17-14. Now it's not as if they took their foot off the gas.
True.
They were still trying to blow them out. And it was that play that when Josh Allen threw the pass and was intercepted by Xavier Howard, they were up 17-3 and he was throwing a bomb.
Right.
So it's not like they let up. They were still trying to embarrass Miami. Right. So, and they couldn't do it. So I think they're going to be extra motivated for this one. And I just think, I'm with Buffalo. I just think, yeah, you know what I mean? And, they're in the AFC East. So, I can't say if, it's the best division in the NFL anymore because you got 3. I thought I'd bring it up. I was calling them.
I was gonna get you there.
I had to bring it up.
I'm gonna hold on to it.
But midway through the season, the AFC East was better. You know what I mean? And we just had some injuries, and so the Jets, had some problems with their quarterback. So but you just got to look at it that way. The 3 teams in the AFC East all had issues with their quarterbacks, and the NFC East. I mean, outside of Jalen getting hurt a little bit at the end, Dak early on, what the Commanders have?
The Commanders were in line to take another slot until the week before it ended because
so were the Jets and the New England Patriots.
But I'm just saying you could have 4 of them in there.
I'm just saying the Jets and the Patriots were in line at the last week of the season too. So but I'm going to give it to you after 18 weeks.
Yep.
It's the NFC beast.
Okay.
At least I'll give it up because you still got three teams remaining. You know what I mean? But but the AFC is much better than the NFC overall. I got to give it up.
Yeah.
I mean, we got some quarterbacks in that AFC that are a problem.
Yeah.
Last game. What is the last game? Which one?
Dallas and San Francisco. I got San Francisco.
Yeah, I got San Francisco.
I'm going to hate on Dallas regardless, but I do believe that San Francisco going to be a problem. The matchup is going to be crazy on the offensive side.
Did Peters come back in the game? The Dallas Cowboys left tackle.
I don't know.
40-year-old tackle Peters.
Yeah, I don't know, but I do. That's the oldest guy in the league.
But if Dallas's offensive line can't protect, trust me, as a Dolphin fan, we were 8-3 and went into San Francisco. We went into San Francisco and we competed, but we were missing our two starting tackles, left tackle and right tackle.
Oh, San Francisco ain't no joke right now.
Yeah, and San Francisco put pressure on Tua all day long. No one talks about that when they talk about that game, missing your two against San Francisco. So if your offensive line is a problem, Bosa is waiting for you. Wagner's in the middle.
That's why I'm on San Francisco. I'm on San Francisco for this one.
They looked good against Tampa. That was Tampa Bay that you played, last night. But the 49ers,
you played a 8-9 team.
Right. And then you're America's team, so everyone else, that's not down with America's team was hoping that you would lose.
Yeah.
So that's what with the buildup of this. But this one, San Francisco is just playing too well right now. And it may be close in the first half, but I think and Purdy's not making the mistakes.
No,
what I mean? So
all he has to is nice and conservative, and he sucks you in, and next thing you know, he dumping it over your head.
Right. I think he's thrown
Debo on the slant.
Yeah, I think he's thrown. He hasn't lost a game.
He hasn't lost a game. He
hasn't lost a game, and he's thrown 4 interceptions. And Dak has led the NFL in interception and played 5 less games.
It's gonna be interesting
everybody else
because what does San Francisco do with 3 quarterbacks? Somebody got to go. They got Jimmy G. They got Purdy, and they got
I'd have to say Jimmy's gone.
Jimmy's gone.
Too many teams are looking for him.
Too.
Yeah. Too many teams looking for quarterbacks right now. Jimmy may end up over there in Las Vegas because of his relationship with Josh McDaniels, going back to their days in New England. So Jimmy may end up there. And then you got the Jets that are in play for a quarterback as well. Okay. So, and then he has a relationship with the Jets head coach. So, I don't.
Lance coming back.
I mean, and they're going to do something with him because they gave up 3 number ones to get him. You know what I mean? That we took advantage of and turned into Tyreek Hill, Bradley Chubb, and who was the third one? Oh, Jalen Waddle. That's what we, by trading that pick, we got those 3 players, so.
Shout out to Jimmy Satterfield. He said, you better hope you don't get Iowa State, Purdy. Now, the thing about Purdy at Iowa State, he was a gunslinger. If you ever watched any of his old highlights, the guy, he was Brett Favre. You go get the good, you go get the bad. Because he gonna throw some interceptions. Well, he did at Iowa State. But the difference is you got a head coach that is coaching him up. Won't put him in position.
Right.
Look, don't you got superstars all around you. It ain't about you. Just get them the ball. They'll do the rest.
And just stay away from Diggs' side. If you do that, stay away from. You don't have to. It's not. He ain't Deion Sanders over there.
Right.
But if you stay away from that side and use Debo everywhere else and Kittle's, it's gonna be a problem.
The play call. Because Debo will come out the backfield. They'll get him on a reverse. Yeah. You got Christian McCaffrey. You just got way too many weapons. So I'm definitely on San Francisco on this one.
Yeah. Me too.
Good stuff. Well, we covered our full 30. We're a little overtime today.
I know.
We got overtime. We got it in overtime.
And we could keep going.
Yeah, I know. No doubt. Tell everybody how they can find you, my brother.
Well, they could find me on Star 94.5 in Orlando, Monday through Friday, 3 to 7 p.m. I have the Lorenzo Iced Tea Thomas Show, number 12554. Planes driving past. I'm like, sheesh, did y'all hear that? Number 12554 amongst African Americans, number 52054 amongst the ladies, because you know Lorenzo loves the ladies, and the ladies love Lorenzo. And then you can find me on Hot 105 Saturday night, 6 p.m. to 10 p.m. And of course, follow me on Twitter at Lorenzo Thomas and on IG at Lorenzo Iced Tea. That's Lorenzo ICETEA.
You heard it. You heard it. You can catch me at Dirty South FFL on my Twitter as well as my Instagram. And you can catch me also 100 Hip Hop and R&B each and every weeknight as well as on the weekend. So definitely check us out. And next week, man, we get a chance to come back here, find out who's in the championship. It should be real interesting.
Real interesting. I'm looking forward to it, man. Talk to you then.
Absolutely. So first and foremost, thank you to my folks over Miami Sports Music Network for putting us in. We will check you guys out again. Stick around for a second, and we got to make it official.